Good morning, students. So today we are going to see 9th standard, Samachir Kalvi 9th standard, first poem. So English, so you will be all fine, I think so. You will be enjoying your holidays. This is your first class for 9th standard. So you will start with the first poem. You will be wondering that English is, you may be thinking that English is a hard language, it is hard to study. But when we have interest on this language or interest on the subject, it will be easier for you to study the lesson. So first we will start with the poem. This is a memory poem. The topic of the poem is Stopping by Woods on a Snow Evening. So this poem is written by Robert Frost. So the topic of the lesson poem is Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening. This is an unusual holidays, children. So if you have, in your usual holidays, if we think of some holiday destination, we will be thinking about Kodaikanal, Ooty, or some hilly areas like that. So if we are going through hilly areas, we will be watching some sceneries, right? So it will be filled with forest, many trees and woods, isn't it? So this is a poem which is related to that type of thing. So this poet is going through a long journey, so in his horse. So when he is going through the journey, he is stopping at a wood. So wood means forest. So he is stopping there and he is watching the scenery and he is enjoying it. So when we are enjoying something, so in our mother tongue, we will be having, getting some lines, right? So in Tamil, you will be writing kavidaigal, right? So அதே மாதிரி இந்த poet வந்து அவருடைய mother tongue ஆன Englishல he is writing this poem. So let's get into the poem. First we will see about the poet. He is Robert Frost. He is the poet of this poem, Snowy Evening. He is a poet. He was born on 26 March 1874. He is an American. He is awarded for many Pulitzer Awards, which is given for journalism. He is a good poet. He has lived in city, so he enjoyed the village life. So his poems are many works he has done in the village and the sceneries which are related to the villages. So for 40 years his life is not known. After 40 years many of his works were noted and he was given many Pulitzer Awards. He was taken as the United Nations poem, but unofficially. So in Tamil and all we will be saying that அரசவை கவிஞர்கள்னு சொல்லுவோம் இல்லையா நம்மளுடைய மாநிலங்கள்ல அத மாதிரி அவர் United Statesல he was the poet, but it was unofficial. So he was called for the office bearing of John F. Kennedy. You will be knowing John F. Kennedy is an American president. When he bear the office, he was called as a chief guest. So he, mostly the famous works of his were Road Not Taken, West Running Brook, Mending Wall, After Apple Picking. So these are all the famous works done by him. So you will be wondering what is Pulitzer Prizes. So Pulitzer Prize, it is nothing but the prize given by the United Nations from the year 1917 for the works of journalism and also for photography, fine works, so and all it will be given. So Indians, many of the Indians have got this Pulitzer Prizes. So first Indian to get Pulitzer Prize is Gobind Behari Lal. So he was the first Indian to win the Pulitzer Prize. So this year 1920, when we are all inside lockdown, these three Indians, they were awarded Pulitzer Prize for the photography, fine photography of lockdown. So that is Dar Yazin, Mukhtar Khan and Shani Anand. So these three Indians, they were awarded Pulitzer Prize on May 5th. They were awarded 2020, they were awarded Pulitzer Prize by the American United Nations for their fine photography on lockdown. So let's go into the poem. So before we are going into the poem, we will be seeing the glossary. So woods are nothing but an area of land covered with a thick growth of trees. So normally we call it as forest, right? So these are, here they have mentioned this as wood, an area covered with a thick growth of trees. So that is woods. Second one, frozen. So what is frozen? It is in the form of ice. So in the first picture we have seen the woods. Now these woods, they are covered by snow. So this woods they are calling at frozen. So third one. So it is square. Square is nothing but it is strange. If you are seeing something strange or odd, which is taking unusual irukkiradhu. So which is not taking as usual illama, it is, when it is unusual we call it as square. So next is harness. So you will be seeing this. This harness is nothing but it is fitted with the horse with the cart. To pull the cart, it will be fitted to the horse. So this is the harness. So next one is downy. So downy is something soft and fluffy, which is very soft, and it will be fluffy, somewhat fat or something. So that is called as downy. Next one is sweep. Sweep, we will be saying that sweep the floor nu solluvom illaya. So sweeping is when we are moving it swiftly and smoothly. So here these snowballs, they are moving swiftly and smoothly, so they are calling it as sweep. So next one is flakes. Flakes, you all know that corn flakes and all, no? It will be of small pieces. So that is what? Here the flake refers to the snowflake. So these are all the snowflakes, white particles you are seeing in the picture, no? So these are all the snowflakes. So with this help of these glossaries, we will go into the poem. Pass. So poem first line, whose woods these are, I think. So these are the woods. So the poet he is traveling through these woods. So he is thinking that whose woods are these? Idu yarodaya edam appdin solli he is thinking. So next. So his house is in the village though. So that woods, the belonger of that woods must be in a village. So what the poet is thinking is, this woods belongs to a person who is living in a village. So that person may not see me standing here. So we will be thinking, no. So when we are getting into someone's property, they will be making us to move out of it. So he is thinking that he is in the village, so he is not seeing me, so I can stand here and I can enjoy the scenery. That is what the poet is thinking here. So to wash, the woods fill up with snow. So from the first image we saw the woods without the snow. So when he was traveling, the woods are all covered with the snow. See how beautiful it is. So when we are also standing here, we will also be thinking of some lines, right? So in our mother tongue we will be getting some lines and we will be writing, no? Like that poet, he was when he was traveling through these woods, he is getting some lines and he is writing that. So that is the poem we got in this lesson. So my little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near. So he is traveling in the horse, right? So when he is traveling with the horse, he is stopping somewhere. So this horse, what it is thinking? It is a little horse. So he is something, it is strange, right? So if we are traveling somewhere, if we stop the car or something, we will be drinking water, or for something else we will be getting down. So this horse, it is thinking there is no farmhouse near. See, there is nothing here, right? There is no house here. So there is no farmhouse here or some lake or something. Nothing is here. Why our master is standing here? Likewise, this horse is thinking. That is what he has said. My little horse must think it queer. So queer is something strange or odd. So here is nothing. Farmhouse illa usual farmhouse irunda illa lake irunda we will be standing there. So nothing. It is unusual, right? So it is thinking it's strange. It is queer. It is thinking it's strange why my master is standing here. To stop without a farmhouse near. So there is no farmhouse near, why he is standing here. This is what this horse is thinking. So likewise this poet is saying that. So next line. So while he was standing there, far away he is seeing some lake which is very frozen. See all the water, it is frozen in the, so this horse is thinking like this. So between the woods and frozen lake, he is standing between the woods and the frozen lake. So it must be the darkest evening of the year. So it should be it is very dark here. So he is standing in the between the woods and the lake. Why he is standing here? This horse is thinking like that. So next, see, already we have said that this is the harness. So this horse, it is thinking why my master is standing here. So it is thinking that my master has stand here, some mistakenly he is standing here. So to indicate that mistake, what he is doing, he is shaking this harness. So it is shaking the head. So while it is shaking the head, this harness will all be shaking. So it is getting the sound. So his master is hearing the sound. By hearing the sound, my master should realize his mistake. Likewise, this horse is thinking. So he is shaking his head and harness to indicate the mistake of the master. So he is saying that he gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. So this horse is shaking his harness to ask his master whether he is having some mistake, why he is standing here. So the only sound is the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. So what he is thinking, the only other sound sweep of easy wind and downy flake. So rather than the horse's harness shake, the only sound they are hearing is sweep of this flakes. So what is this snowy flakes? So this will be, we saw the frozen lake, no? So from that, when wind is blowing, it gets a sweep. So so like that, it gets a sweep, and the snowflakes, it are very swiftly and gently they are rising up. So this sound, only this sound, the horse and the master, they are hearing. That is what they are thinking. So without anything, why my master is standing there? So while this horse is thinking like that, when he gives that shake, his master, he gets into the real world. So he was standing and he was enjoying the nature, and he was seeing the woods and he was enjoying. No? Once he hears his harness sound, he comes to the realistic life and he hears the sound of his horse and he gets into the world. Now he is saying about him. So the woods are lovely, dark and deep. So he is describing the woods. So that woods he saw, it was very dark, deep, and it was very lovely. But I have promises to keep. So, but I can stand here, but now I have some promises to keep. Because he is traveling, no? So he might be having some work to do. So that promises he have to keep. So he is saying that, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. So before it is dawn, I have to travel more distance. So I cannot stand here and I cannot enjoy this scenery. That is what the poet is thinking. So this is the real meaning. But when we see about the meaning of these lines, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep, so we too have some promises, right? We will be having some things to do, we will be having some goals, what we should do in our life. So before our deathbed, we have to complete these promises. So this is the meaning, what we have to take it from this poem. So we may have many distractions from the world, but though we have distractions, we have to keep our promises. What the goals we have set, we have to keep it, and we have to complete our goals before we go to the deathbed. So this is the meaning, what we have to take from the poem. So these two lines, I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. So these are the lines which was written by Jawaharlal Nehru. It was written by Robert Frost, but these two lines, Jawaharlal Nehru, our first Prime Minister, has written these lines boldly, and he has kept as a table mark. So he will always be seeing these lines, and he will be having the habit of telling these lines to him because he had many goals to do. So likewise, we should also keep our promises, we should also set our goals, and we should focus on our goals. Though we have distractions, we have to focus on our goals and we have to achieve our goals before our deathbed. So next we will go to the poem, we will read once again because this is our memory poem. So, stopping by woods on a snowy evening, when whose woods are these are, I think I know. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. My little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near. Between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year, he gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sound is the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. Written by Robert Frost. So this is your memory poem. Once again, in short, I will say the summary of the poem. So Robert Frost, he is traveling through the woods. So while he is traveling through the woods, he is stopping there in a place. So he is enjoying the scenery. So while he is stopping there, it is filled with the snow, and his horse, little horse, it is thinking, why my master is standing here, because there is no lake or nothing here. So why he is standing here? So he is shaking his harness bells. So on hearing that sound, Robert Frost comes to the real world and he is thinking that these woods are very lovely. So I have to, even though it is very lovely, I have to go, I have miles to go, so I have to leave this place. So, so he started traveling once again. So this is the summary of the poem. This is a memory poem. You have to memorize all the 16 lines. So it is very easy when you understand the meaning, and if you enjoy the poetic sense, it will be very easier for you to study. So you just go through, take in the summary and just read once again. You keep the dictionary nearby. If you don't know the meaning of any words, you just go through the dictionary and you can study easily. So nothing is impossible. If you enjoy anything, it is very easy and possible to study any language. Thank you, students. So children, in this poem, we have to see the poetic devices. So what is poetic device? We have to see the last word of every line, each and every line. So in Tamil, we will be studying Monai, Edugai, adha mari padipinga illaya, adha madri. So here we have to see the last word of the line. So rhyming, so rhyming paakano. So that scheme, what we will be saying A, B, C solluvom. So no அப்படின்ற word நம்ம A அப்படினு வச்சுக்கிட்டோம் அப்படினா no and though. So both are rhyming, no. So again we have A. So though here same இருக்கான்னு பாரு, here இங்க. So though here ரெண்டும் same இல்ல. So we have to put B here. So இங்க பாரு no snow. So both are same. So இங்க என்ன பண்ணனும் A. So the scheme of the first paragraph is A, B, A. So this is the rhyme scheme. So next one is quer, near, lake, year. Quer பாரு, quer ன்றது A ன்னு வெச்சுக்கோ. Near ன்றதும் A. Quer and near both are rhyming. So A வெச்சுக்கோ. Lake ன்றது quer ஓட rhyme ஆகல. So it is B. Year ன்றத பாருங்க. So it rhymes with near. So again it comes A, B, A. So this is the rhyming scheme. So அடுத்து நம்ம பார்க்கணும் அப்படினா personification. So personification அப்படினா என்ன அப்படினு பார்த்தோம் அப்படினா when something it is related to a person, ஒரு personோட ஒரு non living thing வந்து நம்ம வந்து உருவகப்படுத்தி சொல்லும்போது அத personification னு சொல்லுவோம். So இங்க பார்த்தோம் அப்படினா அந்த each of every wind, the only other sound to sweep of every wind is the downy flake. So இதை வந்து எதோட உருவகப்படுத்துகிறாங்க அப்படின்னா ஹார்ஸ் வந்து ஹார்னஸ் ஷேக் பண்ணிச்சுல அந்த ஹார்னஸோட நான் லிவிங் திங்கோட அதை வந்து உருவகப்படுத்துகிறாங்க. ஸோ அதோட சவுண்ட் மாதிரியே இது வந்து வருது அப்படின்ற மாதிரி சொல்லுவாங்க. ஸோ அது இங்கே வந்து பர்சானிஃபிகேஷனில் வரும். ஸோ ரிப்பிட்டேஷன் அப்படின்றப்போ ஒரே லைன் திரும்ப திரும்ப வரும்பொழுது அதை ரிப்பிட்டேஷன் சொல்லுவோம். ஸோ அண்ட் மைல்ஸ் டு கோ பிஃபோர் ஐ ஸ்லீப் அண்ட் மைல்ஸ் டு கோ பிஃபோர் ஐ ஸ்லீப். ஸோ திஸ் கம்ஸ் அண்டர் ரிப்பிட்டேஷன். ஸோ தீஸ் ஆர் த poetic devices which prevail in this poem. Thank you, students. You go through the poem, you memorize it, and you write accordingly as your teacher says. Thank you, students.